You didn't ghost them. You didn't stop caring. You just stopped showing up. And somehow, that felt like the only thing you could do. Most people would call that avoidance, a problem to fix, a habit to break. They would point to it as proof that something is wrong with your communication, your emotional availability, your capacity for closeness. And if you have heard that enough times, you may have started to believe it. But that is not the full story. What most people never stop to ask is this: why does someone go quiet instead of speaking? Not to excuse it, not to defend it, but to actually understand what is happening beneath the surface. Because there is far more going on than people realize. This is about why people pull away without saying a word. And it is not what most people think. When the brain senses emotional threat, not physical danger, but the kind that lives in tension, in unmet expectations, in vulnerability that might be rejected, it does not always fight. It does not always run. Sometimes it goes still. Neuroscientists call this a freeze response, a system designed to protect you by shutting things down. The amygdala flags danger, and the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for language and connection, begins to go quiet. What is left is not a person choosing distance. It is a person becoming distance, without fully knowing why. This is why people pull away without saying a word, not because they do not feel anything, but often because they feel too much. And the nervous system has quietly decided that the safest place to go is inward. Here is what most people miss. Withdrawal is rarely cold. It is regulation. For many people, this did not start here. It started much earlier. In environments where emotional expression did not land safely, where showing need led to dismissal, or frustration, or silence in return, where the emotional temperature could shift without warning, and the safest response was to become smaller, less visible, less demanding, less present. The nervous system learned from that. It adapted, and what it learned was simple. Closeness is unpredictable, and unpredictability feels dangerous. So it created a response, not a wall, something quieter than that, a default setting that activates when things feel too close, too intense, too uncertain. That is not a flaw, that is a child adapting. And the adult carrying that pattern now is not broken. They are running something old in a world that has changed. And this is where it becomes more complex. The people who pull away the fastest are often not the ones who feel the least. They are often the ones who feel the most. High sensitivity, without a safe way to process it, creates pressure. Not loud pressure, quiet pressure. The kind that builds slowly until distance feels like the only release. So the withdrawal is not indifference. It is protection. This is why people pull away without saying a word. Not to punish, not to manipulate, not because they stopped caring, but because staying and speaking feels like more than they can hold. And that does not make it easy for the other person. It does not. Silence creates its own kind of pain, but understanding it changes something. Instead of asking what is wrong with them, you start asking, what are they protecting themselves from? There is an uncomfortable truth here. The very thing meant to prevent damage can become the damage itself. When someone pulls away without a word, people do not receive silence. They create meaning. Stories fill the space. I do not matter. I did something wrong. They have already left. And the distance meant to protect the connection becomes the thing that breaks it. That is the cost. Not failure, not weakness, just a pattern that outlived the place it was created and is still running even when it is no longer needed. Seeing that clearly changes everything. There is no hierarchy in how people respond. Some move toward closeness. They talk. They process out loud. Others move inward. They need space. They quiet down before they return. Neither is better. Neither is more evolved. They are simply different responses shaped by different histories. What matters is not the direction you move. What matters is whether it is a choice or a reflex that happens before you can decide. If this feels familiar, then you already understand something important. You are not someone who cannot connect. You are someone who learned what connection could cost and built protection around that. And that protection made sense. That is why it is still here. You are not broken. You are not cold. You are not incapable of closeness. You are someone whose nervous system found a way to survive. And survival patterns do not disappear just because the danger does. They wait, they watch, and sometimes they activate even when someone is simply trying to stay. That is worth understanding, because underneath the pattern of pulling away, there is something deeper. Not just what you do, but what you need. And understanding that layer is where things begin to shift. If this felt like something you have lived, there is more to understand about why the people closest to you can feel like the hardest ones to stay near.